Hey everyone, this is the Heroes Podcast again. I'm so happy to be back. Someone who is familiar to me, so familiar, Paul Statton. Well, he is about self-worth. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Thanks for offering this opportunity for me.
Thanks. Before we start, I really wanted to give everyone a heads up who you are, what we're going to talk about, and then we'll roll on with the interview. So Paul is the founder of the Lighthouse for the Soul. He's dedicated to facilitating people to achieve healthy and joyful lifestyle by helping them access their authentic self. Client outcomes are greater clarity, high confidence, and vitality so they can create the life they so desire. Paul has a profound understanding of how consciousness affects a person's vitality and lifestyle. He's a healer. He has this natural gift to shift people's life and understand how they can engineer favorable outcomes for themselves. Well, I'm really excited because now I can feel that we are brothers. Do you want to tell us how you have started this journey? Maybe take us back to, well, the beginning, to the background. Have you had issues around self-worth you want to share?
Absolutely. So early in my life, when I was a child, I didn't fit into my family. I didn't fit into the world, and I thought the world was quite crazy. I had a narcissistic, controlling person around me, and I was always told off for being a bad person. And I wasn't acknowledged for who I was because it was quite magical. I felt a bit like Harry Potter living in a Muggle's world, right? So because I felt there's something wrong with me, and I felt I was inadequate. So because I had a narcissistic controlling person around me, I developed a lot of shame and guilt, and I was very sad and frustrated because I didn't know how to fit into the world. And I thought there's something wrong with, I thought there was something wrong with me, right? So therefore what I did was I was always looking for acceptance from other people, being a bit of a people pleaser. But inside I felt very sad and frustrated. And even so, when I was a teenager, I was suicidal. And even went to the stage where I'd planned my death. And I sat in a railway station, not waiting for a train to get on, but waiting for a train to jump in front of. And I was sitting on this train station crying, going, I don't want to be in this world anymore. And this little girl came up to me. She was about, I don't know, not old, 8, 9 years old, with a little flower. And she came up to me, never met her before, and she said, we need you. Like I'm sure it was like an angel that was sent to me or something. You know what I mean? And I thought, wow, that's amazing. That changed my life. And I was still trying to fit into the world. I struggled a lot as a teenager. I even learned economics and accounting because I wanted to understand how the world works. So I learned economics, right? And I still didn't understand how the world works. I understood the system. I was teaching economics at university to even learn it deeper, but I learned more. Right. And I still wasn't happy. I sort of tried to fit into the world, but I still wasn't happy. But I didn't know what to do, right? But we quite often, yeah. You got a question?
I wanted to ask you, who was this person? Was it dad or mom?
It was Dad.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I actually got on quite well with my mother, which in a way freaked my dad out a bit. And one thing I learned as I grew older was why narcissists control people is because they're very insecure underneath. And narcissists are scared of magical people because they know, because we're empaths, they're worried that we're going to expose their game. And I knew he was controlling my mother.
And
therefore he tried to control me through anger to stop me exposing the game.
Wow, what a parallel life we have. And I just wanted to ask one more thing, because some of my audience would maybe recognize what's going on at home. Like in my case, mom was trying to please him and to make peace in between us. That was similar for you. So dad is an aggressor, mom is the people pleaser, the victim, and then you are in between. Was it similar?
Similar to that, yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
because mum was sort of, she gave me the love and stuff. And yeah, but she didn't know how to handle dad really. So dad sort of dominated a lot. And dad controlled my mother through emotions. Right.
That story has really resonated. The little girl with the flower, because to my best understanding, flower is a sign of, let's say, spiritual enlightenment, to receiving a flower. So go ahead with the stories. Sometimes I will stop you to.
No, you stop whenever to ask questions. I don't mind with sharing more details.
So,
and you know, one of my magics is I like playing with words, right? And in 1997, I had an emergency. And the word emergency is like emerge and see. Like I believe we have emergencies in our life to wake us up, because I was definitely asleep, right? And like I had a I call it a triple whammy. Three things happened at the same time. Like if you're really blocked, it's like you got to really be shaken to really wake up, right? And one of them was I was enjoying work, you know, even though I was a good teacher at university and won a national teaching award for my research. But I didn't like the teaching environment. Most people at university hide in the world. I had a broken love affair, which didn't work for me based on, I was looking for love from outside of myself, which is what happens when you've got low self-worth, right? And I sacrifice myself, and of course that never works. Right. So I had a broken love affair. But probably the biggest thing, the triple whammy, the third one, was one of my friends almost died in a car accident. And he was drunk at the time. And I remember going into hospital to see him. And I freaked out. Like, he looked so bad. I thought he was going to die. And he had like bars through his legs to hold his legs together. I was fainting in the hospital. And the nurse was worried about me. So I walked out of the hospital in Adelaide, and the botanical gardens was next to the hospital. And I sat in the botanical gardens really shaking and going, oh my God, I've got to change my life. That could have been me, because he was drink driving at the time. And I was binge drinking, and I thought, wow, that could have been me. So that day I decided to take long service leave from university, and I never went back. And it's really interesting, you know, how the universe sometimes puts things in your face to make sure you see it. His car was such a mess. The insurance company put it on top of a building on a common roundabout in Adelaide, so everyone would see it, and the advertising about not drink driving. And that roundabout was one I went through every single day. So every single day I saw that car, I thought, shit, that could have been me. So it's like it was bringing it into my consciousness every single day. And I thought, I've got to learn how to heal myself, because I don't want to end up in hospital like him. So what I decided to do is I left university and took a payout, because they were actually reducing people, looking for redundancy. So I took a voluntary redundancy. And for the next year and a half, I worked it out one day, I did 1,000 hours of courses, right? Learning about consciousness and energy. And I thought, my God, now I understand the world. I've got to understand energy and consciousness, not about understanding economics, right? And then I started doing healing on other people, because I thought, oh, well, just for something to do. I really learned it more for me. But when I started helping people heal, I realized how powerful I was at reading people's energy and understanding what was going on for them and knowing how to clear it. So then I thought, oh, well, I'm going to do this professionally, because I'm accessing my abilities as an empath. And because I had a strong teaching background, people wanted to learn what I did. So I started designing courses. I was getting amazing results with people. So therefore, all from that, I started to design my own business to work for myself, doing healing. And one of the key messages I got as a child, I believe we have experiences for a reason. I saw my dad being very sad, locked in a job he didn't like, right? And I thought, I'm never going to be in that situation. So what I decided to do is decided to create a business for myself where I can work for myself whenever I want and not being controlled by other people, especially narcissists, right? And so I use my business background and healing and teaching background to design my own online school, which is called the Academy for Life Mastery, which has 15 online classes. And I really train other people to be healers. And I help people know how to be healthy and really create the lifestyle they really like. And that's really what my passion is now. And now I've got my own online school where I can work the hours I want to work and travel and never be locked down in a job. So that's what sort of got me to.
Paul, let me ask you this, because a lot of people are looking for that exit sign that has been there for a long time, but let's say they are still stuck. They're still, going to work and trying to break out of that painful job that is really not their purpose. What would you say? What were the biggest factors for you to come out of your old life? I know there were a big event.
Yeah.
What were the key factors to shift this? Because I've heard from you, and that was unbelievable. Did you say 1,000 courses you've done on consciousness?
1,000 hours, 1,000 hours, of course.
1,000 hours. Like, that is serious commitment, obviously. And you. So what else do you think were keys to shift old reality to the new version of you and the new version of your life?
Pain is a big motivator because if we're really blocked, we're going to create a lot of pain in our life, which for me was that triple whammy. But for some people, it's a major illness or a car accident or their house burns down or they get sacked or something. And I feel quite often we create a lot of pain in our life, which gives us the incentive to change. And the key thing for me is I wanted to really find out who I was. And because I realized I kept trying to fit into the world based on my childhood experiences of having low self-worth and therefore looking for external validation. But that never worked for me. So the big key thing I've learned, which I help with my healers, is stop looking for external validation. Because even healers these days, a lot of them are looking for validation by doing a healing course like Reiki or kinesiology or something, but they're still not healers because they don't understand themselves. And so the key thing I learned from my study of 1,000 hours back in 1997 was connect to who I was, my soul essence, why I'm here on the planet, and what abilities I've got to help other people. So part of the gift I learned from that when I train healers now and help people connect to their purpose is get people to understand what journey have you gone through in your life, which gives you the struggles you went through, which gives you gifts to help other people. And when you understand that, it opens you up to being of service and looking at the world from a bigger perspective. Because I know a lot of people, they look at what happened in their life as self-pity and there's something wrong with them and they feel bad about themselves, a bit like what I went through. But really, it's about understanding that whatever you go through is experiences you chose to have, even before you came to the planet. The parents that you experience, you choose them to learn things to be of service. And I'll give an experience of one of my clients, right? This was quite a dramatic client. She was Indian and her mother sold her as a sex slave when she was 8 years old. oh my God, a very dramatic experience, right? I still remember her, Andrea, looking at me in the eye. She was 19 when I met her. And she looked at me in the eye, crying, saying, Paul, am I such a bad person? My mother wants to sell me. I go, what the hell, you know? And so she had a lot of anger towards her mother. She had a lot of shame about herself. She thought she was something wrong with her, not good enough. She was really angry with all the men that were sexually abusing her. And I helped her realize that she went through that experience to learn things so she could be of service to other women in the world. Because that, I don't know if you're aware, but it's a big issue in India. And of course, sex trafficking is a big thing in the world, right? So
Absolutely.
when I said to her, how would you feel if you went back to India? Because I met her in Peru when I was working in the Amazon jungle. I said, how would you feel if you went back to India and were able to help those girls so they didn't go through all the pain that you went through? And she looked at me, and going from crying, she had this big smile on her face and said, I love it.
Purpose. Yes.
Purpose, right? And therefore, what she did is she liked law, so she went and learned law, and she went back to India and is there helping those girls and helping change the system.
That is powerful. Changing the story, changing what a small child mind have come up with as an explanation to why things happened the way it happened. And I believe that's majority of my work as well. I really wanted to ask, what would you say is unique about your approach? Obviously, you worked out your own system, and also what came up when you said that there are a lot of healers out there, but they are not true healers. Would you give us a bit of help? Who would you see as a true healer? Because sometimes I see those who are still in their own wounded state or traumas. Their ability to really help and shift lives, let's say it's very limited. So in that sense, if people are listening to us, would you say it's ideal? Of course, the self-sabotage takes people to people who will not be able to help. I know that. But would you say there are certain healers and people could find them who has been through it, done it, and now at the place where helping others is the next easiest things that they do? That's how I find myself too. Do you want to give us a guidance or give people help who or how to find healers who would help to heal, actually, not just promote and promise healing? Because that's a big problem out there, I believe.
Of course, that's a big question, but there's a couple of clarity of things is, one thing I discovered is that most people don't understand the cause of illness. And there's a lot of myths in the world about what causes illness, like at a physical level. And therefore they don't understand healing, right? And if you look at Western medicine, it sort of just tends to deal with symptoms and looks at things from a physical symptom perspective, like, like mental illness is caused by chemical imbalance in the brain. No, it's not. It's a symptom, but it's not the cause. And things like, I can help people get over scoliosis in one session, a curvature to the spine. And like Western medicine even put a rod in people's backs and all that rubbish, because they don't deal with the underlying cause. So I think a crucial thing with healing, because when I went into healing, I thought, I want to help people at a deep level, permanently and quickly. And I think the crucial thing about healing is really understanding the underlying cause of illness. And if you shift that, healing can happen very quickly. And from what I've discovered is that all illnesses are caused by a block of reality. Because in a way, the way I look at it, right, in simple terms, right, we're a soul that projects our energy into the body to manifest in this dimension. If you allow your soul that you bring into the planet to come into your body, there's going to be wellness, right? But if we block our soul to fit into the world is what most people do. Because they don't feel comfortable. So they, like me, they like I did, I blocked myself, right? Because I had shame and guilt. Is you block your flow of energy into the body, and that causes symptoms. So therefore, to really be a true healer, you've got to really look at the block of energy. Because in a way, every symptom in your body or in your mind or in your emotions is a message for you to clear. And if you clear the underlying block, which is usually a limiting belief caused by trauma, the symptom goes away. And I'll give an example. Like I had a lady who had multiple sclerosis, right? She was on crutches, right? Now, as soon as I connect to her energy, to be a true healer, you've got to be able to diagnose people energetically. Now, if you read the energy, their symptom tells you everything. So when I train healers, I teach them how to energetically connect to a person. How many doctors can diagnose people accurately? Not many, right? Anyway, this lady with scoliosis, with multiple sclerosis, when she came into my healing room, I connected her energy. And I thought, this happened 7 years ago. I just knew that. I said, what happened 7 years ago? And she said, I gave birth. Now, I knew the underlying cause of multiple sclerosis. Like every symptom, it's got an underlying cause. And I knew she had a thought of, I've lost control of my body, because what multiple sclerosis is, right? Now, when she told me about 7 years ago when she gave birth, she actually said there was complications and she felt she lost control of her body. Now, if you live out that program, your body will live it out, right? Through your mind,
Yeah.
right? So when I got her to change that, let go of that limiting belief, which I believe is the cause of all illness, blocking your flow of your soul by holding on to limiting thoughts. I can't, I won't, it's too hard, whatever it is, based on the trauma. If you get the person to let go of that limiting belief, they're changing their perception of their story, of their reality, the healing happens. And with that lady, 2 days later, she walked, and I say walked, no crutches, into my healing room.
What a story.
Because she now had control of her body. So I think, in answer to your question, one key thing is people have got to know how to connect to the underlying cause of illness, which is limiting thoughts and realities, right? And they know how to interpret the energy, the symptom, and help the people know the changes they've got to make in consciousness. So really healing is a change in consciousness. That's the way I look at it.
I love that. I really love that. I had a few interviews.
Yeah. And the other key thing is for a person, it's not about learning modalities. That's a big myth. Oh, if I learn Reiki or kinesiology, I'm a healer. No, you're not. Because I've seen a lot of people do courses and they're still not. The key thing is, once you understand the healing process, you've got to have a system to take people through, which I've developed a 4-step system that can heal anything, and I mean anything, cancer, tumors, whatever, right? Based on that process I just talked about. But then you've got to understand yourself as a healer as to what gifts you've got. That gives you confidence. The confidence doesn't come from doing a Reiki course. Confidence comes from, I went through this shit in my life. I understand it. I understand other people who are in it, and I've gone through it. A bit like that girl who was sold as a sex slave. And I've gone through it, and now I know how to help those people. That's what gives you confidence.
That's a powerful approach, and I absolutely believe that level of certainty, where your belief in them or in their thing is much higher than that they imagine possible. And did you not get into trouble? I'm just thinking, you have powerful healings around you, and as we know, there is this traditional medicine around, turning over billions of dollars. Have you been behaving well not to promote yourself as a charlatan? Because that's what the concept is. And I understand that they make a lot of money out of treating the symptoms. Have you been a good boy and being careful around what you do and how you formulate your message?
part of it, the answer to that question, there's a few important things, right? One is to know that what the gifts that you've got are important for where the world is right now. Because one thing I realized is, my issue of having low self-worth. What I've discovered is a lot of healers who are quite magical have low self-worth, which is quite ironical, given they've got really high abilities to connect energy and feel it, whatever. But because they don't feel they fit into the world, because it's not a majority reality because most people are hypnotized by the lies in the consensus reality. So therefore they have low self-worth. So the important thing is, what I discovered for myself in training my healers is to really believe that what you've got is important. But of course, it is important to know how to share your messages with the world. Because if you go on to the world stage and say that you've got a solution to cancer, they're going to kill you. Because all the cancer research places can't exist anymore. What are they going to do? Right? They'll kill you, right? Which has been proven. People have been killed. Right? So the way you share your message, right, is important. But it's what you focus on. See, I like a comment from, I think, Buckminster Fuller. He said, it's not about fighting the old reality, it's about creating a new one. So I don't focus on the old system. I'm not here to fight the system. Some people want to do that, right?
Yeah.
But my dad, he actually said to me, I like to take pills. That's what he said. What? Anyway, and that's his reality, and that's okay, right? I'm not here to judge what people choose, what people choose to do and how people choose to learn, right? But I focus on what I'm good at and knowing I'm here at this time to help change the world, which the world's going through a major change right now. Now, some people aren't open to that. I still see people wearing masks, right?
Remember that.
I saw a couple getting married in the gardens and having their wedding photos taken with masks on. I mean, what sort of reality is that? You know what I mean? But that's okay. It's about allowing people to live whatever reality they are. And I'm not here to force people to change. I'm not. I'm here to help those people who are ready to wake up.
Thanks for that. I just have a comment that you might want to expand on. That my understanding, as you said, is basically life force or the soul's energy can easily heal the body without much delay. Yeah. And unfortunately, we need to find the root cause of blocking that energy. So it's everything else is actually, I don't think it would work long term or even temporarily. My understanding is now, modern medicine is medicating people for years and years, and luckily, if they can manage the person, I don't even want to talk about side effects. So I'm wondering, and this is a great thing that you started to do. So now you're multiplying healers in your modality to really change people's lives. Yeah. Do you agree on this life force idea that I carry around? Because I have seen.
Just clarify the question.
Oh, so I just said, well, the life force, which everyone has access to in, let's say, sometimes very limited ways, is going to heal. And I've seen one of my clients healed from, it was a very serious cancer. And I wasn't working on the cancer, I was working on his own issues in relationships, all of that. And then within a few months, she was gone. She was a new person in every area of life. Do you want to expand on this a bit?
Yeah. So I'm going to blow some people's minds about what to say, but that's okay. I don't believe that anyone has an illness. And the way I want to explain that is, see, people believe experiences happen to them. They don't. They have an experience, but it's not about them. And a good way to look at it is we project our essence, the life force energy, into the body, right? A bit like a movie is projected into a TV. The TV is not the movie, right? Now that happens at every second, and you can turn the channel off at any time, or change channels, change energy, and a different thing comes out of the TV. Now, when people say they have an illness, it's not really true, because every second we're projecting our consciousness into the body. So in a way, people are recreating that every moment, right? And even Deepak Chopra talks about this a lot, right? And therefore that means you've got the ability, by the different energy, the life force energy you project into the body, to change at any moment by the level of consciousness you have, what thoughts you have.
How you feel.
See, one of my friends, and classic example of that, one of my friends, a lady called Chrissa Valenti, she was actually a singer in Melbourne. Now, she had cancer around her heart, and the doctor said that she's going to die, right? And she's writing a book called The Day They Told Me I Was going to Die Is the Day My Life Started. Because she walked out of the hospital a day later with no cancer around the heart. Why? Because she changed the life force energy. So you can change things very quickly by changing the energy you project into your body. And if another way, like if you go to the cinema and watch a movie on the wall, right? By changing the movie at any moment, changing the projector, you change what you see. No difference in the body.
It's almost like they forgot it. They are sitting in a movie theater.
Yeah.
Most people. And they this reality is really happening to them, yet they are the most important part of they are the director, would you say?
Yeah, there's a great analogy of the movie by a guy called Stuart Wilde. I don't know if you ever read Stuart Wilde. It's quite funny. He's dead. He's not dead now, or crossed over. He used the analogy of the movie, and he said, life is like a movie. We're the director. And he said, everyone who comes into our life are actors. Don't blame the actors. Change the script. Because if you get rid of the actors, some people do. Oh my God, if I get rid of this person, they'll be okay. No, if you're in the same energy, you're going to create the same person, as we know that. Right. So what you do is you change the script, which we can all do, which will change the energy we bring into our energy. So it's like we have an experience which is not about us. We have that experience to learn things. And even Eckhart Tolle says that. He says, no, you've got to see yourself outside of the experience, like watching a movie. Oh, I'm watching this movie. I might be experiencing it, but it's not me.
Yeah, cultivating the observer. Well,
The observer, yeah.
It's a very powerful approach, which I teach myself. But going with that movie metaphor, I really teach and tell me what you think. I always say to people, look, dichotomy is this 3D word. I mean, if you think about your life as a movie and staying in a movie theater, like what kind of movie would you want to watch? Would you want to be flat and dull and waiting to get out of it, or would you have the extreme +100 and -100 and then create a happy end somehow? Like that's what you want to pay for, right? So welcome to the reality show.
But the whole thing is, going back to a comment you made earlier, most people don't understand how to do that. So because most people don't understand how they create experiences. I'm writing a book at the moment called Life Mastery, which is going to explain this. But see, people don't, I even had a client today, and people use all this negative language, like I'm confused. Now, I said, if you say I'm confused, well, what are you going to create in your life? What sort of movie are you going to create, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people have negative thoughts. I can't, I won't, my God. Or they have used negative words, and they're wondering why they're creating a reality they don't like. Well, You've got to focus your energy, because we know based on the law of attraction, what you create in the physical world is a reflection of your energy inside. So you've got to be able to hold that energy. But most people don't know how to do that, and they're so busy and caught up in life, don't even give themselves time to create that.
It's so exciting. I'm so excited to hear what you say, because actually last week I started to write a book. I woke up in the morning, I said, well, I need to teach people how they have been messing up their life. So the title I came up with, you said, how deep is the rabbit hole? The consequences of low self-worth that you haven't thought about. So
Yeah.
I'm writing it now. But do you want to tell us what are the tips that if somebody's stuck? Obviously, maybe it's the area of health. Most of the time, it's relationships and career or work as well. What would be the 3-5 things they could do right now to start their accelerated journey and transform their results and transform their lives?
Well, great question. One reason why people are stuck is because they've got unresolved issues they haven't shifted. So one important thing is, life is giving us experiences all the time to tell us that, right? But people aren't connected to that. So you've got to really understand your life experiences, number one. So you understand what life is telling you about what to shift. So really connecting to life, right? And it's about helping people, maybe having a coach or somebody, which helps you to understand, why do you keep creating this trauma, right? Because generally people don't think about it. I'll give an example. I've got a client at the moment he's a label, even the label is limiting, right? But he believes he's got body dysphoria where he can't even look at himself in the mirror, right? Now, he doesn't really have that. See, Western medicine labels it so they can treat it and make money out of you, right? I said, no, you haven't got body dysphoria. He goes, what? No, I just said, that's the game that you're playing based on a trauma which goes back to what happened with his parents. I knew what the cause it was. So what I did is I helped him deal with the underlying issue of it, right, his parents, and help him to understand what I talked a lot about tonight is getting people to understand their life journey. So I think one of the good exercises people can do is look at their life and go, what's a big thing I went through in my life that I can help people with and not take it personally? Because one reason why people are stuck is they're stuck in being themselves. And they're not looking at it from a collective perspective. Because I like words. If you look at the word illness to wellness, illness has got I in it and wellness has got we in it. Isn't that interesting? So you go from an I perspective to a we perspective. So I think a critical change people can look at is, why did I go through this experience in my life to be of service and stop feeling sorry for yourself? And I know that because I've had self-pity for myself. I've come through that. So I can help people, right? So I'm helping changing this guy's reality totally. Because what a lot of people try and do is they try and problem solve. Oh, I've got a body dysphoria problem. I said, no, you don't. So they're trying to problem solve. No, you've got to look at from a bigger perspective. Why did I have this experience? Because this guy wants to be a healer. And I can see in a lot of ways how he's going to help other people from going through this experience. So changing people's perspective of their experience is a major way they can get unstuck. Whereas people are trying to use their mind and the same reality that they created it to uncreate it, which is madness.
Yes, there is freedom. There is a way to escape that, and sometimes I feel that they are blindfolded almost. They cannot find the door. There is the solutions and the keys and the omens have been provided a long time ago, yet they are still stumbling about in their life, not knowing what is happening to then. So
And of
when
course, remember, people are caught in a system, let's call it the matrix, right? And matrix is our matrix, the mother of all tricks. And it does create a lot of tricks to keep people stuck, right? And, you know, like making them be busy all the time so people haven't got time, or making them broke so they haven't got money so they feel they've got to worry and stuff. So it's, you know, there's fear on TV all the time, in movies and in news and stuff. So they're getting fed all this stuff all the time, which is giving them negative thoughts and limited thoughts, which is reducing the vibration and keeping them stuck, right? So you've got to make a major change in the way you live and the way you look at yourself. And for me, that was a major trauma, which I had in 1997, which woke me up through pain. But if people are more aware, they won't need to go through so much pain, right? To make the change.
Love it. I guess if you're watching this episode, you want to consider turning off television if you don't want to be mind controlled anymore, which I did about 15 years ago. So
Yeah.
how do we find you, Paul? What's your website? How are you engaging with people?
Probably the best way to find me is people can email me, right? At paul@healadream.com. So paul@healadream.com. Or they can find my online school. As I said, I've got an online school where I do courses with people, where people can do online, and it's helping them about issues with self-worth or dominating people, or how to train to be a healer or be a speaker. Because I'm about helping people free from the system to be who they really are. That's what I'm really about, right? So they can contact me at my school called the Academy for Life Mastery. That's my online school. So if they Google Academy for Life Mastery, they'll find me, right? And they can contact me through there or through my email. Is probably the best way. And, you know, I've got my own meetup group, which I do regular talks, which I'm going to interview you soon. So, and interviewing other people and just talking about different things about health and how people can connect to who they are. And so they can also join that group as a way of finding out more about what I do and what I offer.
I love it. I love it because people need sort of light towers. I call the healers like you light towers that are helping with direction, understanding of working out their problems and really being educating how they have been able to self-sabotage themselves. What have I not?
Probably that's where I got my business name, Lighthouse for the Soul, because I realized I am like a lighthouse. I got that in a meditation one night. Because in a way, I am like a lighthouse because I stop people hitting the rocks because people can't see. Right. And of course, hitting the rocks is like their life dramas. So I'm shining light for people so they can help know where to go, like a
Yes.
lighthouse.
So I'm wondering, what have I not asked, Paul, that you wanted to tell, you wanted to share with people that we could not miss today? Because I believe people should re-listen to this episode. If you got to this far, get a notepad and go back to the beginning and start taking notes, because there is an absolutely new life in this episode for you. So what have we not covered? What have we not talked about?
I can summarize my philosophy in life in 6 words. Know yourself, right? Know who your essence, why you're here on the planet. Be yourself, which is about giving yourself permission, and permission is like per your mission, right? To be yourself, have the confidence to be yourself, know you're here for a purpose. And the last 2 words is share yourself. Know that we came to the planet, that we're all amazing beings, and to share what you know. So know yourself, be yourself, share yourself. Those 6 words are my key to life. Nice and simple.
Well, that's wonderful, and all the details will be under the video, so easy to engage with you. Thank you very much for your time. It was wonderful, and I hope to see you again and again, because I'm looking to have a few other small episodes with you to just highlight some
Yeah,
of
we can talk
these
about different things.
informations we can do. Thank you very much.
I just want to thank you for this opportunity to speak to some of your followers, and we're both very keen to get this messages out to the world, because I know there's a lot of people suffering in the world and they're looking for ways of how they can not be stuck anymore and create the life they want and help humanity, which is what we all want. So I really thank you for the opportunity to be here and speak with you today. It's been wonderful.
Thanks very much, and see you soon.
Okay, thank you.